Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Debate Live Day 2 of our British Parliamentary webinar. Today, we shall be conducting a live webinar for you to watch and a live debate session as well. The participants have been given the motion only 15 minutes before. Without further ado, we welcome you all to this debate session. Now, let me mention the names of the participants we have for today. On the opening government, we have Vishwa and Varun. On the opening opposition, we have Kesheka and Noel. We have Abishek and Shivaram on the closing government, and Avendhika and Ayush on the closing opposition. Now I shall repeat the motion for the audience. The motion today is this House believes that video games should be included in the Olympics. Now I call upon the Prime Minister to deliver his speech.
Uh, is it audible? Am I audible? Yeah. Okay, thank you. So, as the Honorable Prime Minister of the opening government, good morning. Good morning to everyone. And I would like to start the debate by defining the motion. So, the motion is the House believes that the House believes that esports should be considered as sport in the Olympics. So, esports is a huge term as of its whole. So I will just like to begin my speech by saying that esports has garnered over $1 billion US in 2019 alone. Esports is the video game industry, the professional video game industry, and the opening government completely believes that the people who play esports for a living and should be considered as exceptional athletes. So I would like to start by giving you all an example of what's going to happen to the Olympics if we don't react and inculcate esports into the Olympics. Into the Olympics, yes. So we all remember how big of a monster, how big of a giant Nokia was in the tech industry, the phone industry. Just 15 years ago, Nokia had around 65% market share in the phone industry, but now they got bankrupted in 2030. How did that happen? It's simple because they didn't react, they didn't act upon, they didn't change. Change is the only constant in the world, and I hope that uh, we inculcate esports into the regime of Olympics. We still inculcate normal sports in the Olympics. Why not esports? So there are many types of esports available as well. You can literally do anything. There are games like Fortnite, Warzone, which are primarily first-person shooter games, and also like economical games like Sim, Civilizations, etc. And also RTS games like Age of Empires and other games like that. So the possibility is endless as well. So I would also like to say that these players who play video games for a living have a dedicated fan base in Twitch or YouTube or wherever they are streaming at. So they will also most likely bring many people into the Olympics viewership arena. So also the 2016 Rio Olympics had the lowest viewership records in history. So the only way to change it is inculcating esports into the arena, into the Olympics. I would like to give you another example of how much esports has evolved and how big it is in today's world. So back in 2019, in July 17, 18, and 19, uh, there was this Fortnite World Cup. Fortnite was the biggest game back then, and the whole of Times Square. Times Square is the biggest marketplace in the world, and the whole of Times Square was covered by Fortnite adverts. How did Epic Games, the makers of Fortnite, do it? Because of its amazing popularity. So, uh, Fortnite alone gained more. Fortnite alone gained more revenue than any film you can watch in the cinemas right now. So that is the power of esports, and it's a free to play game. So we completely believe that esports should be inculcated in the Olympics scene. Also, uh, I would also like to say that not inculcating video games into the Olympics will have major issues with that, because the people who watch video games and stream video games are most likely young people, and all the young people here are watching them. So if we don't inculcate them, they won't be watching the Olympics because they don't want to be honest. And they're not to blame, because we're not telecasting what they want. We are not telecasting what the young people, what the millennial people, what the Gen Z people want. So esports is definitely the future of gaming. That doesn't mean I'm taking the limelight away from normal or rigid sports. They will still be there. Esports will just be an addition to make the Olympics better than ever. We want to make the Olympics great again. So, am I audible? Am I still audible?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I just got confused. Sure. Uh, so also that esports, like I would give you an example of a single person. His name is Ninja. Ninja is the biggest gamer on the planet. By no means he's the best esports player in the world, but he has built a thorough and true audience through his gaming days. So the amount of people who watch Ninja, who enjoy Ninja's content, is just way too much compared to any other sports person in the world. You can also, like, many professional sports aren't included in the Olympics. Like, take football for example. We don't inculcate football as the professional game in Olympics. We just inculcate the under 23s in the Olympics. So I would like to propose that esports are definitely the future and should be inculcated and should be included in the Olympics. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Varun, for your speech. Now I call upon the leader of opposition to give their speech.
Hi, am I audible? Can you see my video?
Yeah, you.
Can you see me? Can you see my video?
Yeah, you are. I can
Hi.
see.
So, good evening to one and all, respected chair, my fellow debaters. I'm here to talk about or against the notion that this house thinks that Olympics should be, inculcated in. I mean, gaming, esports should be inculcated in Olympics. Let us start by the Olympics very definition. Olympics started off as a way for the Greek people to show off his her own physical strength, at the same time to maintain peace in between one another. So Olympics, I guess, from day one has been all about physical activities and physical fitness. On the other side, most of the society, I mean, the society thinks that video games doesn't promote any sort of physical activity or exercise of any sort. No parent would want, no modern day parent will want any pro gamer, say Ninja, to be a child's role model. No parent would want to see their child stuck in front of the monitor for so long, emulating. So I personally, can't imagine. I personally can't imagine, Olympics where I see maybe hundreds of people sitting in front of a system and maybe fighting it out over a game. Um, where okay, I'd like to say that the sole purpose of Olympics for decades has been physical fitness, and I believe it should not be tampered with. Um, yeah, it should not be tampered with. As in, classics should always be classic, right? Let the new games come in, let everything go by. But Olympics has been like that for so long, and I don't think the sheer viewers. Olympics has their own viewership. You know that better than me. The esports has their own. Esport has its own niche. They have their own audience. Bringing those two fields together, I believe, makes no sense. Because setting up gaming centers where people can come in and practice for Olympic events actually, according to me, makes no sense. And parents would not be parents would not like children to watch an Olympics where their favorites or their heroes sit in front of a system and play. It will obviously make them want to do the same thing as well. I don't think the modern gen wants that. I personally believe that Olympics has its own viewership. Say for example, my dad has been watching Olympics for so long, and suddenly the next Olympics they have an event called maybe Fortnite or PUBG or something like that. I don't think my dad will be interested in watching. I don't think anyone. They'll pretty much lose the viewership that they already have. If the all new viewership that the gaming is bringing into it can beat the already existing. I don't think anyone will be interested to watch. The current viewers will be interested to watch maybe a game that is running hundreds of people sitting in front of a system and playing the same game, fighting it out, getting a winner. I don't see why you should win Olympic.
POI.
Yeah, sure. Hit me.
Okay. So you just stated that
Who is
no
this, by the
one
way?
be
Vishwa.
Vishwa.
Okay, Vishwa. Okay. Yeah, tell me that.
Okay. You just stated that the including games in the Olympics would not bring much viewership, but in the gaming
No, I didn't say it
industry
won't
has.
bring viewership. I said.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah, you finish.
My question. Okay, I'll rephrase my question then.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You mentioned that like many people wouldn't be interested in watching games or video games as for general, like the parents and stuff, right? Point
Yeah.
is, video games as a company has beat movies and everything by a whole financially. So won't
Okay.
that mean that video games will be like viewed a lot, and plus there'll be regular games also going on? Isn't that going to be beneficial?
Beneficial for who exactly? Um, you know what the Olympics stands for, right? It's pretty much physical, and the viewers that are watching it currently, why would you be watching Olympics? Like anyone, say your parents or anyone. For me personally, want to watch Olympics for the physical activities that is going on and all that stuff. I wouldn't personally want to see gaming, although no matter how interested I am, the previous gens will not be interested to watch. I can like I don't know how modern they want to be, but definitely feel like the Olympic spirit is being ripped off from gaming stuff like that. I personally feel it's not the way to go. And basically, you have a lot of treating gaming disorders is pretty much like it's almost like treating drug abuse. I mean, it's how drug abuse is almost treated. So setting up all that in case something goes wrong is not going to look very ethical. I hope you know what I mean. So personally, I believe that Olympics should be Olympics, as in the classic should always be the classic. If everything, say the phone industry and the sport industry, was there something? The phone industry and sport industry, I don't think can be compared. As in the technology there keeps increasing, but your physical capacity and your physical, I don't think technology and physical activity should be something that we should match together and stuff. And so I personally feel that Olympics should not allow the esports arena to come into the Olympic. Yeah, okay. Can I finish? Can I finish? And then I'll come to you. So should come into this frame. And they should be what they are, and they have their own respective viewership. So yeah, hit me with the POI. Yeah.
You said classics can be classics, right? So why
Yeah.
can't the classics change according to the new technology and the improving new modern world?
Like, bro, Olympics, do you know what Olympics are? It's, I told you, Olympics are, dude, I wouldn't imagine Olympics, with people sitting in front of a system and playing. I feel that it'll be, the very meaning of Olympics will be ripped off. So that's personally what I feel. But anyway, classic cars sell more expensive than modern day supercars in most cases, I guess. So, like, yeah, they do, right? So that's it. That's what I want to say about Olympics, considering esports in its frame. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Noel, for your speech. Now I call upon the thank you, Noel. Now I call upon the Deputy Prime Minister to give the speech.
Am I audible now? Okay. So I would like to start off by saying a little history about esports or the general event of how it happened. So the first ever esport, fun fact, happened in 1980, where the game Space Invader was played, and many people did actually watch it even in 1980. For something that has been watched and loved from all the way to 1980, I'm surprised that it's still not included in something like the Olympics. Now, I like how the opposition really wanted to preserve the Olympics, but the problem I really like to state here is there wouldn't be an Olympics to preserve if the people started losing interest in it. Olympics are going to be viewed by us in the next generation, mostly Gen Z, like my Prime Minister has stated. So, how do we ramp up something that, how to make the Olympic more interesting is I believe, or the government believes that it is by including games or esports in general. Now, let me just put on a few clauses to why we should why the House believes that gaming should be included in esport. First, I'm going to say how it's going to be beneficial. Viewership. Olympics should be enjoyed by all, not just the older generation or the newer generation. Everything can combine. Like how my Prime Minister has stated that Olympics will also have both normal outdoor games and esports. It can be viewed by both generations of both like old and new, and mostly newer generations want gaming, and it's just a proven fact. Like look at the recent gaming events which were held by Fortnite and Tencent games and so on. Many people watch that, and that is the future, and we cannot say no to that, right? Because change is the only constant. Now, esports is also a sport. Why? Because many gamers, or sorry, professional gamers, consider that actually have to go to rigid practices and hard work to master the certain game, and because of this it does require a lot of brain work and a lot of skill. It cannot just be played by anyone. So I believe that esports should also be considered seriously and should be taken as a sport. Also, I would just like to actually tell how it's going to work, or how the government would like to implement it into the Olympics. Now, there'll be a lot of questions arising. Which sport or which game should be included in the esports? There's a lot of genre and there's a lot of games out there. So I believe that the Olympic Committee should conduct a poll where the viewerships can decide on which games should be played in the actual Olympics, and the games can be are limited to 10 games or 18 games in general. Now the question would be, why only limit them to 18 games? So thing is, gaming industry is a huge variety, has a huge variety. I believe that games should be changed, or what should be played constantly year by year, so that it just is more interesting, and people who are really good at the game can actually get recognition. So we all noticed that, or the fact that was provided by my Prime Minister, uh, the Brazil or the Rio Olympic Games, the viewerships were actually very low comparatively to other uh, Olympic Games. So because of this, again, this would help increase the viewership and bring back the spirit of the Olympics. Now, finally, I will. It is also said that. Sorry. Yeah, it's also said that esports should
Right?
also be considered. Yeah, go on.
You?
Yes, I'll take the POI.
Yes, thank you. You do realize that a huge percentage of gamers are male, right? So, including online gaming into Olympics is going to create a huge stigma between men and women. What do you have to say about that?
Not necessarily, because there are women gamers rising up, and I can even name a few for you. There's Pokeyman, who's a very famous YouTuber and also a gamer. There's also women gamers who are officially a part of the international team. So and in fact, thank you for asking that question, Avendhika, because I believe e-sport is it can be the first sport which can actually stop gender discrimination in a sport. It doesn't have to have a separate male and female sector in sports. Like male and female can actually be the same team and actually can play. Like it can be a mixed sports. It doesn't have to have gender in this quality. That's one of the advantages of having esports. And moving on, with this, I would like to say my final views on why esports should be included. We need to spend. We want to see something in our boring lives which actually make it something interesting, something to talk about. Football and any other game which is with under 23 football and so on and so forth. All the games
POI.
that are included in the Olympics are yes. Go on, sorry.
Interrupt you, Vishwa. I have a small question. Since you are very concerned about viewership, are you telling me that the current viewership of esports is way higher than Olympics? I strongly disagree. So what I think, okay, what my question is, if you bring gaming into Olympics, do you think the current viewers will stay? Which happen to be the majority as per facts, like watching the games, I feel that they will leave. And do you think the esport viewers will come into Olympics? Will that make viewership thing balance? You get what I mean?
Yes, Noel, and I answer your question. Noel, my government has stated constantly that we are not going to take away the games which are already there. It will just be an add-on. So yes, actually, it just increased the viewership. Simply, the old viewers can stay, and the new viewers can also watch. It's not going to change anything. In fact, it's just going to be better. With that, I would just like to say the government strongly believes that games should be Olympic sports, and it is the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishwasena, for your speech. Now I call upon the deputy leader of opposition to begin the speech. Vishwa, we can turn off your video.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Can I start?
Yes, yes.
So I would like to start off by saying Olympics basic reason was for it to start was to enforce good relationships with Greek cities. It was started in Greek, where they decided that they have to have physical qualities shown by young men, bring Greek cities closer. So the purpose of Olympics is to bring so many countries together. We are not basically saying that basically trying to say that Olympics is a professional platform where many countries can resolve their disputes. So many countries are show off their athletes and they try to resolve all the disputes. They are trying to say who's best, who's so basically saying that everyone can be equal, everyone is equal. It doesn't matter if you're a small or anything. So Olympics also I would like to say, someone said Olympics was started around 1980, but it was started way before. And you're trying to say Olympics might lose its fans and viewership. But let me tell you something. Olympics was started way, way before, and it hasn't gone bankrupt till now. And the sole reason of Olympics to happen is not to gain fans and viewership. So by bringing in esports, I accept we get fans and rejected, but by bringing in many fans and viewership, we might gain so much popularity. Like Olympics might gain so much popularity. But what was the sole purpose of Olympics to start? It is for the athletes to show their physical strength. Motto for Olympics is faster, higher, and stronger. The Olympics values here, the Olympic values determination, hard work, and creation and equality. Where do you find the hard work and determination in esports? I agree, they're using 10 hours a day or they're doing so much work. Hard work and professional yeah, okay. Sorry, please keep, yeah. Also, the society nowadays they won't approve esports coming into Olympics. They wouldn't want their child to be uh, inspired by a professional esports player. I mean, they're never going to help. I agree, it might bring in fans, like you said, but it's not going to help. Also, it is many scientific, there's many scientific researches that prove that video games make a person aggressive. Would anyone want their child to be more violent to the society? I don't think any parent would want it. So including esports might bring in so many negative comments and so many negative side effects. So I suggest that we don't include esports into the Olympic. So anyone has any POIs?
POI. POI.
Yeah,
POI.
yeah, tell me.
So you said video games spread violence, but the sport of boxing is allowed in Olympics. So isn't that also violence?
I'm talking about violence which is created due to virtual world. Many people are, there's also many examples of people killing themselves by playing PUBG. Would you not agree? Boxing is a professional way of fighting. They're training and they're fighting, okay? So you cannot compare boxing with games. I don't think so you can compare. Anyone else has any other question?
POI.
Yeah, tell me.
Sorry. So you mentioned that Olympics does not encourage the idea of viewership, right? But ma'am, do you not believe that viewership also brings financial support to the players who are actually playing the game, so you can reward them for their hard work?
I said Olympics was not started for the sole reason of viewership. I didn't specify and say that we don't need viewership. So what I would like to say is bringing in esports is going to be bringing in so much negative feedback, and it's going to be really offensive to the professional players. So I don't think we should have esports included in the Olympics. Thank you.
Thank you, Keshika, for your speech. Now I call upon the member of government to start their speech.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
So first, I would like to say that first, what
Okay.
esports are all about
Okay.
is it
But
is
did I
not
miss
only
out? No?
entirely. Excuse me.
Um, Keshika,
What
continue.
esports are all about is not only about the video game strategy, whatever it is. Not they are not only the only category. I have been seeing that all the time. The opposition has been saying only two things. One is it spreads violence. My question is, if you think, if considering the fact that Olympic is played in a genuine platform, do you think that Olympics and esports will promote violence? I guess no. Again, the other part which the opposition has been mainly focusing on is preserving the nature of the Olympic Games, which was started only only for the promoting a physical sports. Actually, my question is, there is a category of video games called virtual reality. Okay, so they also promote physical. They also promote physical movements in the video games. So aren't they can they be considered as the parameter for ticking the box of considering it as a physical uh, and physical applications? Also, again, the whole point of having esports is not to break the traditional games. They are going to stay as it is, as our prime minister stated, as our deputy prime minister stated. It is going to stay in the Olympics as it is. We are just giving addition to the Olympics because seeing the trend, we are actually seeing a flat in the curve in the people who are viewing the Olympics since long. It has been declining over the period of time, and even considering the last Olympics, the viewership has gone down comparing it to the previous one. Also, esports are a way to reach people instantly and easily. Anyone can understand a video game more easily than a game that has formal rules set up and needs about people to even say them what they are. Also, today's is a life which is moving faster than ever. So, than seeing a game that is going to run about for about 90 and about 1.5 hours, what I will prefer is seeing a shorter game, which would get me through the phase of me enjoying seeing a sport, right? So I will prefer a shorter game and a game that gives me the experience of myself watching it. So I'll prefer esports over games that have been into and out of the Olympics that have been till now. Also, uh, the gist of Olympics is that it is promoting sportsmanship, team spirit, and competitiveness. All the above stated factors are getting ticked by the esports category of which we are supporting. Any game you consider in esports are going to, however, help in promoting any of these qualities. It gets you everything that any game is still in Olympics has been performing. Also, people are saying the opposition has been saying that the degree of physical stress Olympian is undergoing is far wider than a person who is going to play a video game. Actually, it is no. See, a person playing about consider a game like table tennis and a person who is playing a game like boxing is not going under the same stress of same physical stress, right? So a degree of physical stress must not constrain the game that is having a wider audience to be excluded from the Olympics. Also, um, the major point Olympics lacks is the viewership. Olympics Olympics is always seen as a dignity of hosting. Still, the host always face an economically stabbing environment. After the Olympics is over, the amount of money spent is far and wide, uh, wide crossing the amount that has been invested, that has been gained over the games. So it is also a factor to consider that to even attract audience, you need esports or a game like this. Also, we have to accept the fact, like consider my father wouldn't be that interested in esports or video games. Probably the main purpose of him using the digital technology is basically for communication. But me, I spend much of time than compared to him in the digital platforms playing games. So it is like the viewership for gaming, as stated by our president and deputy prime minister, is increasing. However, we have seen people hosting video games and have seen whooping support in increasing in the people who are watching it. So my point is, it is the time we are going to shift towards evolving Olympics to the next level. It is not about killing the traditional perceptions of Olympic being a physically involving sports alone. We are going to get it is going to move to the next phase, of which we are going to have the participation of people who can get physical stress, as well as people who are going to focus more on uh, games that are going to be less time consuming and more of mental participation, outreaching the other sports. Also, one of the opposite benches stated that Olympics bringing video games into Olympics will lead to gender partition. Actually, as stated earlier, it actually destroys the gender partition. In a physical event, you will always have events for excluding the mixed events. You will always have events for men and women separately. But in case of a game like esports and video games, you can have games that can have people from both the sexes involved in it, right? So actually, it brings people together uh, than stated that having a gender partition. So also, any game you play via physical means will have its own infrastructural requirements, right? But esports or video games will not have that much of requirements, considering the structural or infrastructural parts of the game. So thank you.
Thank you, Shiva, for your speech. Now I call upon the member of opposition to give the speech.
Thank you. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are, Avendhika.
Thank you so much. The very main motto of Olympics is faster, higher, and stronger. And this is the reason games like chess, darts aren't a part of Olympics. One of the many important rules to be a part of the Olympics is to undergo drug testing and ensuring large number of national federations can participate in sports. Now, this is something that esports cannot satisfy. And let me tell you why. There are a lot of poor countries in this world. Now, countries that are technologically backward, countries that do not have enough money to fund for these players. Now, how do you expect certain countries in Africa that do not even have electricity to involve players who can take part in games like this? And let me tell you this. One of the very motto of Olympics is to make sure everyone has an equal opportunity to participate. Now, when you bring esports, that very opportunity is taken away from them, and this isn't fair. The most important thing in each video game is that they are owned by someone else. Now, when you're bringing a game like this into Olympics, you have to make sure, to get license and permission from each. You have to make sure so that you can get license from the owner, and the chances of you getting a license is also 50-50. Now, you have a lot of constraints when it comes to bringing in esports. And I don't even know why people aren't talking about this. Imagine sitting in a chair for like 6 to 7 hours straight gaming, and it defeats the very purpose of the health. It defeats the very purpose of what the Olympics is believing: fitness, mind, health. And no one is taking this into consideration. You can't tell me that a gamer is going to be very well off just by gaming for like 30 minutes straight and is going to take rest. No, when you're going to compete in the Olympics, you will be having at least 9 to 11 hours of straight gaming expertise. You need to be so advanced, and this will have such a negative toll on health. And now, IOC is very strictly against any form of violence. You're telling me that video games, yes? Yeah, you can ask the POI.
You stated that people in the Olympics. My question is, what is regarding the people who are gaming? Actually, what does it have in relationship with people spending more time in during gaming? What is the point of this?
Listen, The whole purpose of gaming can be taken as a stress buster. It's okay to spend gaming. It's okay to spend some time in front of the monitor, but that doesn't mean you devote your whole life in spending in front of a computer. That's going to have an extremely bad and negative impact on your mental health and physical health. So, and secondly, the very important thing is see, fans of esports already have their very own tournaments. There's not going to be any point in bringing esports into Olympics when you have your very own tournament. And the opposition had mentioned something about less feasibility. Do you realize that you can hack someone when they're playing games? So you have to spend millions and millions of dollars ensuring that there is safety and no one player can hack another player. Now you're saying that you're going to get money, but the money you're going to get is going to be funded again for ensuring security, and it's a waste of time. And there's a lot of yeah.
POI.
Yeah, you can answer POI.
So here's my question. So you just stated that gamings can be hacked. My question is, Avendhika, if that's the case, so can the players who are actually playing the sports be bribed or be drugged or be done something like that? So yeah, we're obviously going to have. If isn't that a thing? Like, how can you just state that it's going to be hacked when you're going to go through a lot of firewalls?
Listen, there's a huge possibility of stuff happening like that. That's why we have drug tests. And when if a person is found being guilty, they're immediately they are made sure that they can never participate again. And events like this happen the chances of them happening are extremely less. Now, do you know the amount of money that you have to? Do you know the amount of money you have to spend on ensuring such a tight security system? It's absolutely useless to spend so much of money. And this is something that the IOC cannot afford as of now. And you have to set up a separate council to ensure that this whole thing happens. Actual playing, actual sporting is different from online gaming. The rules are different, the procedures are different. Can I please finish giving my speech? Yeah, I'll enter in the POI later. There's a lot of rules and regulations that comes into play. Now the IOC will have to spend so much of time, so much of money to just to find out what sort of games can even be encouraged in online gaming. To just choose that is a big thing. And games like Fortnite, PUBG, they have a lot of fans. Yes, I accept that, but they also promote so much of violence, which is against the IOC coding. Now, who is going to decide which participant can take place? Who is going to be responsible of that? Who is going to be responsible of which game should be taken up? We don't have a strong council at all. And lastly, this is highly unethical. Comparing online gamers to actual people who spend half of their life training so hardly, so much of physical, vigorous activity that they have to go through, and I accept that online gaming is extremely practical, and you have to use a lot of your mind. But Olympics is also about physicality. You have to use your body for it. You have to be strong enough. And online gaming is just all about sitting on a chair for like 5 to 6 hours. And then gaming, it's not going to be fair for the other players who spend so much of time on actual straight up games. So this is bringing esports will totally change everything that the IOC stands for. And the opposition only seems to have one point, and that is viewers. Let me tell you one thing. Bringing in, there's going to be viewers. And there's going to be viewers, yes, I accept that. But the whole point of having viewers is to create diversification. Now, when you bring viewers, your only chance of them only watching that one video game is extremely high. Yeah, when you have separate platforms that encourage separate gamings like this, you can just go forward with that. Why do you feel the need to involve e-games with Olympics? It makes absolutely no sense, and hence bringing esports will totally be everything against that what IAC stands for, and hence e-gaming should not be brought up. Thank you.
Thank you, Avendhika, for your speech. Now I call upon the government whip to give their speech.
Am I audible?
Yes, Abishek. Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, let's start with the motion first. This house believes that video games should be included in the Olympics. So yeah, the first of all, let me start with the rebuttals. Few rebuttals. Um, so the opposition says that physical fitness should not be tampered. So, uh, first, let us consider one thing. Start with the motion first. This house believes that Olympics should be included in the video games should be included in the Olympics. So first, let me start by saying a few rebuttals. Physical, the opposition came and said that physical fitness should not be tampered. So it's not like physical fitness is alone important for us. Uh, we also take the fact of mental illness. The video game helps us to improve our mental illness, as well as it helps us to reduce stress, etc. So physical fitness, sports should include both physical as well as mental aspect. So when that both is considered, we can include video games as part of Olympics. Also, um, let me just first analyze all the things that my PM and DPM said. This is $1 billion investment. So the online gaming is now currently worth more than $1 billion. And I'm sure, taking us the lockdown situations and all, now at present the online gaming is the only thing which is the most revenue gaining and it has a lot of profits. So let me state the advantages of video games. First, yeah. So a sport must help us both physically and mentally be stable. Video games does helps us mentally become good. It is also an entertainment media. Olympics is invented for entertainment only. So video games can also be considered as an entertainment platform. It is scientifically proven that video games helps us to improve our problem solving abilities. It helps us to tackle our real life situations in a augmented reality. There are a number of games that prove useful to kids as well as adults. Include those games in Olympics. I'm not saying that you should include this PUBG, Free Fire, those games and all. I agree that they cause violence and there are real life examples as well. But there are some good games as well. Take that into consideration. Take the example of Candy Crush, puzzle games, memory games. There are lots of games which are useful to both the world as well as the kids, as well as all the children or the participants who are participating in the Olympics. The stakeholders of this scenario may include the professional gamers who play games their whole life. Some people just play games their whole life. That is their life. It can be useful to those people. I'm sure we can find a lot of people like this nowadays. Also, another stakeholder of this scenario will be game creators who live their life by creating games. I'm a computer engineer. Let me say that I have created a useful game which improves your memory and knowledge. So I'll just include those games in the Olympics, and I'll gain a lot of popularity, and my hard work will also be ensured. So that's what I'm saying. Include video games. There's nothing wrong in including video games. Uh, a lot of people need an entertainment platform. Rejected. I'll do it at the end of the thing. A lot of people need an entertainment platform. Olympics is an entertainment media. We all need new and improved technologies in this modern and technological world. Everything is digitalized. We should go with the flow. People say that go with the flow, right? So the technology is constantly changing, and we must adapt to those conditions. So I'll go with the quote: "Every Tom, Dick, and Harry has a cell phone nowadays." The opposition came and said that poor countries will not be able to participate in these kind of stuff. But I am saying poor countries will be really they'll find this really useful because they don't need to involve this travel affairs. They don't need to travel abroad and participate in Olympics. They can do it from their home country, from their homes. They can just join those games by online. So that is a simple and easy technique. It's cheaper actually, so poor countries can afford it. And also our case can relate to all those people, uh, to grow, those graduates who are jobless. They can try their hand at this. They can try at playing video games, and they can try to win this, so that they can participate in the Olympics. That would be a dream come true moment for many people till now. I agree that apart from talent, luck also plays a vital role in these things. But the same happens in other sports as well. Let us say that cricket, not everyone gets a chance to be selected and play for the Indian team, right? So I'm saying that uh, we can include the video games, because cricket, football, and stuffs like this have World Cups, in the World Cups and all. But video games doesn't have a proper platform. So it's a $1 billion income. It can improve the economy of the world. So we can surely include video games in this. Also, let me conclude by saying that talent is a talent. It doesn't matter whether you are eligible in physical sports or video games. Talent is a talent. It doesn't matter whether we have talent for outdoor sports or we have talent for playing video games. All talents must be welcomed and appreciated, and Olympics is a good platform for that. So I conclude that we must include video games in the Olympics. Age or physical fitness also doesn't matter if we include video games in this Olympics. Thank you.
Do you have time for POIs? Or are we done?
Please refrain from asking for POIs after the 6
Okay,
minute
cool.
and for
Yes,
the
okay,
person.
cool.
Thank you, Abishek, for your government whip speech. Now I call upon the opposition whip to end the debate.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So I am from the closing government, and I've taken the role of the whip. So basically, what the closing government wants to say is that Olympics is for people or participants to portray their physical skills, and also include and they also include memory based, the use of mind. So Olympics has its own set of policies, and as my PM said, that a classic is a classic. I would like to give an example here. Like, you can't include Iron Man in Jungle Book and say that we want to include new things, so we'll add Iron Man in Jungle Book. It is not how things work. And then, the that is to say that is to oppose the thing that change is the only constant. Yeah. And the opponent, deputy prime minister, said that so Avendhika actually said that esports are male dominant. Yes, they are male dominant, and in the US, only 48% of the women have even downloaded a game, whereas 80% of the male population has downloaded a game. In the 48%, only 8% of them have even downloaded a multiplayer online game. So you can't just say women can be given equal opportunity. They just girls just are not interested in these things, so it can't be equal here. And choice of game, opposing the deputy prime minister, there are online multiplayer games like PUBG, Fortnite, Call of Duty, and many similar games. So would the Olympics include every single game? Like, they would choose any one, right? So if PUBG is chosen, then Fortnite and Call of Duty players, where should they go? And then the opposition said the Fortnite championship was held, and it was a very big success. And they also they also added names like Ninja and all, the YouTuber Ninja, but Ninja was not did not even enter the competition, and it was a 16-year child who had won the championship. And then all the government said was viewership. Like, is revenue the only thing? There is nothing called ethics and all. Like, Olympics have been conducted for so many years, and like is uh, is money the only thing that can sustain the Olympics? And the opponent member said nobody would be interested in a 90-minute game, say football.
POI.
Rejected for now.
Okay.
Nobody would be interested in a 90 minutes game if compared to a fortnight game. So your deputy prime minister will definitely agree that 90-minute football game is better than better than to watch a fortnight game. And then even the economical disturbance that would be caused, the opposition. Just a second. The economical disturbance that would be caused, even I mean, despite all these economical problems that the government, the host would have, even then they fight with the Olympic among the countries fight for hosting the Olympics. Yeah, and like there are so many games. Like, if I like the game FIFA, why would I go watch Fortnite? But if today I don't like swimming, even then I would see swimming. You get it? Like, that is how good the current Olympics is. And the government whip said these games reduce stress. Google and find what 6 hours of games for a month can do. Uh, and and yeah, the government whip. How can a whip add new points? I completely don't. I oppose this. And he said mental stability, and so many people die out of due to mental stress. And the whip also added that Candy Crush can be included in the Olympics. Now you want the Candy Crush to be included in the Olympics as well. How would you like grade the users? And then the sir has said traveling cost. You know what Avendhika said? The African, even the African villages don't even have electricity, and then you say they can play online games. I was completely mindfucked at that time. And yeah, luck. Okay, I'm coming to this point called luck. Okay, a shooter practices for, like, say 2 to 3 years. If he was practicing to hit a 10, and the maximum he would deviate is to get a 9. That is the luck involved in shooting. But in gaming, like 100 people start in PUBG, say, and and the best player can get out can be the first to get killed. Yeah. So I would like to say that esports has no space. Cannot be included in the Olympics. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayush, for your speech. Now, please stay on hold for like around 5 to 10 minutes. We have to discuss the verdict for you guys. Thank you, guys. there could have been better analysis given to that. And also, there were a few rebuttals given, but then yes, it did lack analysis, so we weren't able to mark that. So that is the reason why you're placed fourth. And the reason why opening opposition to phobia guys is because they did have a few concepts with a decent amount of analysis. So yeah, that is why opening opposition to phobia guys.
I have a
And
doubt.
now,
I'm sorry to disturb your flow. Shouldn't you tell the points that they?
yes, Adil, but since we're running out of time, we kind of thought of giving constructive feedback later on. Yeah, thank you, Adil. So now, coming to the third bench, we have opening opposition, and now I'll be telling this bench why they got third and why opening government took over them. So the reason why opening opposition came third was because yeah, so yeah, as I mentioned earlier, you guys did have a few constructives. You guys spoke about the originality of Olympics and how it even started before, and also that the originality shouldn't be lost at any cost by introducing video games. And also the DLO spoke about there's no much hard work and determination in video games. But then you guys could have given better analysis because most like a few of your cases were broken down by the opening government. So that is why we gave you third. You guys could have given better analysis. So now coming to the second bench, that is opening government. You the cases that you guys built are pretty good. You guys spoke about how viewership is like how viewership can be increased, and also and also about gender indiscrimination, because it's like an open platform for both women and men to participate in, and those are pretty good points. But yeah, there were a few things that you guys did lack. It was both the PM speech and the DPM speech are pretty repetitive again. But then since you guys did give better analysis than the opening opposition, you guys have been placed second. And also, yeah, I will give constructive feedback later on. And then the reason why closing opposition came first was because the rebuttals are very strong, and especially the member of opposition, gave like pretty good cases and did give better analysis compared to the other three benches. She spoke about this one point that the other three benches didn't even mention, which was about how hard it is to get a license from the game provider for each and every participant, which is hard. And that's what the basic foundation of the Olympic Games will even be if at all video games is included, which is not possible. And also, video games is not like a proper way to maximize global participation, as it's not easily accessible to backward countries. So that was a very good point, and like that wasn't mentioned anywhere in the government's case. So and yes, the closing opposition did give better analysis than the other three benches, and that is why we have given them first. So yeah, this is the verdict, and we will separately give you constructive feedback for each and every speaker as to how you can improve your individual roles, and do better. That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for your time, and yeah, one. And now and with that, our 2 day webinar comes to an end. I'd like to thank our management, our principal, Dr. Dwaraknathan sir, the faculty coordinator for the RAC Debating Union, the entire core of RAC Debating Union, without which this couldn't have happened, and the sister club RAC Atrium for their constant support throughout. And last but not the least, the viewers of this entire webinar. So signing off on behalf of the all staff.
Okay, awesome. Satya, I just have one doubt to ask.